This lesson is going to be on how to create a banner in Photoshop like the one you see right here. So go ahead and open up Photoshop, and we'll do File, New. And you need to decide on your width. If you want your banner to span the entire width of your design, you're going to want to set it to be whatever the width of your container is. So if you're doing a 780 pixel wide container, type 780 here. If you're going to do 1,000 pixel wide, you're going to want to make that 1,000. Again, make sure this says pixels and not inches. You'll realize real quickly if you put inches, because when you click OK, it's going to take a long time for it to open. Height, you'll have to decide on the height that you want. I'm going to do mine in 150 pixels. Resolution, again, would be 72. And you can just leave this as transparent, especially if you want to have a transparent background. We'll click OK. And we'll start with our background color. Notice we had a gradient. So we're going to create that gradient. And the gradient can be found where the paint bucket is. So you just have to hold down on that little arrow to the bottom right, select gradient. When you do that, you're going to get the gradient toolbar, and I'm going to click up here. I've already got mine set with the colors, but the way I did that was I double click on the bottom color here, and then I can select what color I want. If you want a specific color, let's say it was the color from the card, you'd want to open up that card and select it. I have that color, again, still on my toolbar from the last thing I did, so I'll just select that. And then I want black, and that one's easy. I can just select the black and then go ahead and click OK. I want my gradient to go from the top down. So what I'm going to do is draw a straight line from the middle down. If I want it to be perfectly straight, I'll hold the Shift key, and then I can let go, and I have a gradient. The next thing I'm going to do is put my text in. So click on your text tool, and typically with text it's going to automatically make a new layer for you. So I'm just going to highlight my area where my text would go, and I'm going to type holiday cards. Now, obviously I want that to be bigger, and I might want to change the font, so I'll highlight it. Select, let's try 60, maybe even bigger, let's do 72. You know what, maybe even bigger, let's try 90. Press enter. That looks good. I do want it in white. If it wasn't the right color, I could double click up here, select what color I want. Again, I could change my font. This is your chance, because you're going to save this as either a GIF or a JPEG. It's your chance to use fonts that you can't otherwise use because people wouldn't have them. If you want to download a new font, it's a great way to be creative with your design. So I've got the font that I want. I'm going to accept this. I like how it looks. I'm going to kind of click on the arrow. Sorry, I've got a cold right now. Okay, I'm going to move this down, and I want to add a stroke around this. So make sure that that layer is selected. I'm going to go to this option here and go to blending options. And we're just going to do a black stroke. So click on stroke, select the color black, click OK, click OK again. We're good to go. The next thing I want is, I think we had a little other text that said call 1-800-888-5555 to order your cards. Let's add that in. Might need to make a new layer, because sometimes it's hard if we already have a text box right here. So I'm going to make a new layer. Click on my text tool. Good to remember that we want to change the font. Sometimes if you start this and you have a large font, you're not going to see it. And that's because your font is too big to fit in the box. So I'm going to already just resize it. I'm going to start out here, make my little box, and just start typing. Call 1-800-888-555 to order your cards. Select that, click on the arrow key, and I'm just going to use my arrow key on my keyboard to move this around, down and to the right. I might even choose to make that a little bit bigger. Let's go 14. Still looks pretty good. Might go to the left a little bit. Okay, that looks good. The only other thing I want to add is this border that goes around. If I go back to Photoshop, I need to select layer 1. And again, I'm going to go to my options so I can find blending options. I could do a basic stroke. If I want to do bevel and emboss, I could do that. I think I'm going to try a shadow. We'll see what that looks like. So I have to actually click on this. I can select my color. If I want it to have different shading, I can change that for the opacity if you want to be able to see through it. You can change how big that is. And as I'm doing this, you can see it's previewing. With some of these, you do have to make sure that you select that it's appearing on the inside. So I feel like, let's see, there's one of these. Maybe it was under stroke. Yeah, that was the one. Under stroke, you want to go to inside if you wanted to add a stroke. Otherwise, outside, obviously in this case, you're not going to see it because this is the outside of our document. I'm not doing that option, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. So I'll deselect it. Click OK. That looks like the way I wanted it to look. So again, you'll just do a file save for web and devices. Decide if it looks good as a GIF image. If not, you may want to switch to a JPEG. And the file size actually in this case is smaller because there's not much in this. And then you can go ahead and save it. So I'll save this into my web design folder. And then if you already have a project folder for the holiday cards, save it there. I'm just going to cancel this. Okay, and then the last step, you always want to remember, make sure you also save it as a Photoshop file. So if you realize you need to make any changes to it, you have all your layers that you can work with, and you don't have to go back into a new file.